This is On the Sidelines with Box 13.
Well, it is a beautiful time to be a Seattle sports fan. The Mariners are headed back to the postseason, and they could wrap up the division as soon as tonight for the first time in 24 years. Hello and welcome into the On the Sidelines podcast. I'm your host, Ethan McReynolds, along with my partner in crime, D-Jack, Dante Jackson. Dante, the Mariners are going back to the postseason, and something feels a little bit different around this Mariners team.
Yes, you could feel it in the air. Now, I saw that celebration yesterday, and it was great. I feel better for the fans, though. The fans that packed T-Mobile for all these years. I mean, only making the playoffs two out of 2 years in the last, 20-something years. So for the fans that have this and the ability to celebrate, go Mariners.
They've won 15 of 16 games. They are playing perfect baseball. The pitching, we talked about the pitching needed to turn around for this team to when they lost 15 of 21. We were like, the pitching is just not good enough. The pitching has been much better, but it's hard to not talk about the offense. I mean, you think about the game one against the Rockies last night, down 3-1 in the eighth. They had 2 hits up to that point. Josh Naylor comes up with the bases loaded. And it just feels like this offense is just going to come up with the big hit whenever they need to. They have so many weapons up and down the lineup. You're not reliant on one guy. In the month of September, Dante, they have 5 guys with a WRC plus of 150 or more. 50% better than league average. There's 5 guys doing that in this lineup. I mean, what more can you say about how dangerous this lineup is?
And this is the lineup and the team that we envisioned as Mariners fans for years. And shouts to the Mariners organization and Jerry DiPoto, Justin Hollander, putting this team together. Now, last year they were under much stress and turmoil, talking about 54% and all that good stuff. And the fans, to their credit, demanded a winner. Jerry DiPoto delivered. Yep. And guess what? The Mariners are now in the playoffs, and we're not satisfied. We're happy. I agree with celebrating the milestones. Hopefully they poured champagne, but they didn't drink champagne, because tonight the magic number is 1. They can actually clinch the division, Ethan.
For the first time in 24 years.
Yes.
It has been almost a quarter century since the Mariners have won the American League West.
Yes.
You've got the banners that fans meme on up there with the wild card appearances, and I mean, this organization hasn't accomplished anything. So to actually go out and win a division title,
yes,
I cannot believe it. I was 2 years old when the Mariners last won the division. It is not something that has happened in my memory.
Right.
And the Mariners are actually about to go out and do it.
And the fashion in which they did it against the dreaded, the hated Houston Astros. Yes, the Astros. They go ahead and sweep them, and Houston might not even make the playoffs. So to get over the hump, Houston has been a thorn in the side of this organization forever. They have been a wailing organization. They've won championships. Now it's time for the Mariners. It's our time.
Well, and you last week on the podcast, you always say get greedy.
Get greedy.
And in baseball, I just think the complete opposite way.
Yes.
And you said Mariners need to get greedy, they need to win out, and they need to sweep the Astros. I didn't say that. I could not have disagreed more.
Right.
Like, just go out and win the series, win the tiebreaker. They not only go out and sweep the Astros, who have dominated them for the better part of a decade, ever since they got into the American League West division.
Yes.
They went out, swept them, and did not trail for a single out. Not a single inning did they trail to the Houston Astros. You could not have made up a more dominant result in that series. The most important series in 2 decades?
Yes.
I mean, when has this team ever had a more important series in the regular season in their history? Maybe in 95 when the team was on the brink of relocating and leaving Seattle forever.
Yes.
And they had the crazy comeback in the pennant race against the California Angels. Junior scoring. I mean, you can absolutely make. I already said it. Dated myself. Was not around back then.
Right.
So you can. The series back then, there was more at stake with the team having to lead.
Yes.
That was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 30 years ago. You have never had a more important regular season series than this past weekend against the Houston Astros, and you go out and just absolutely dominate. And the Mariners, the reason it's so, it just so many strong emotions associated with it, because the Mariners have had this habit the past 5-10 years, the past 20 years. I mean, since 2001, where they have these big moments and they just never rise to the occasion. Me got some friends that joke about whenever the city looks directly at the Mariners, whenever the spotlight is fully on them, they shy away and they just never perform. Yeah. And you saw the spotlight turn to the Mariners ahead of this Astros series. They're playing some of their best baseball, and they could not have risen to the occasion any more than they did.
And you have to credit the roster. I go back to the organization. This is the roster that, if Cal is not hitting, Julio can be hitting. If Julio's not hitting, you have Randy. You have Naylor coming up. So this lineup is, a who's who. If you're an opposing pitcher, it's no breaks in this lineup because you even got Polanco hitting doubles. He just hit another one. Dom Bomb Canzone. He comes off the bench and contributes. And you still have Victor Robles, with the catch. So this lineup, this is what you envision when you put this together. And don't forget about Suarez also. It is no breaks in this lineup, and the emotional leader of this team has been Josh Naylor.
Absolutely. Well, and I'm showing the Victor Robles catch.
Yes.
Because, in Game 3.
Right.
Or no, sorry, this is Game 2.
Right?
This is Game 2. So this clinches the tiebreaker. This essentially wraps up the division.
Yes.
And we didn't know. But the call from Goldie, he's just screaming.
And you know what?
I
have to.
Comes out of nowhere. He comes out of nowhere. Julio's not getting to that ball, and I think the camera, the framing of that shot just makes it so much better.
Yes.
Enter stage right, Superman Victor Robles.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible.
And if you look at this catch, Julio, who is a Gold Glove center fielder. Yeah. Julio has a great glove. He wasn't even getting there. Mm-hmm. And here comes Robles into the frame out of nowhere like Superman. And what does it speak about an athlete in his heart? Because Robles made a similar catch that put him on the shelf for months. Exactly. He didn't bat it high when he saw that ball. He went after it. He got it, and now it's just known as the catch here. And I talked about it earlier on the morning show. Our morning show, I said you need 3 ingredients for a championship team. One is history. We have Cal making history with the home runs. He has 58. He's on pace to probably break Aaron Judge's American League record, okay? We know Cal is going to get there. You had Brian Wu with over 20 starts of 6 innings or more. So you have the history there, okay? Then you need unlikely contributions. Polanco with his 20 doubles. Dom Canzone, 5 for 5, 3 home runs in the game. Mm-hmm. Victor Robles making a diving catch. You have unlikely contributions. Then you have to have special players, You have special players like Josh Naylor with the double. You have those iconic moments, And you had a grand slam by JP early in the season on Father's Day. So you mix that all together. This is a championship squad, and we said it from day one here on the sideline. We're going to pat ourselves on the back. But guess what? It's not done. The job is not finished. Get greedy, Mariners.
It feels they're just playing with a certain level of fearlessness, confidence, boldness. You talk about Robles. The word that comes to mind for me is fearless.
Yes. Yes.
Diving into the stands, almost ruining his entire season, and then he comes up, saves the. What the Astros would have tied the game there in Game 2. Things would have fallen apart. I don't know if the Mariners win Game 3 if they lose that Game 2 against the Astros, because you have the PTSD of that playoff series against the Astros with the Jordan homer to walk it off in Game 1 of that playoff series. If the Mariners win that Game 1 in Houston of that ALDS series, I think that series is a completely different ballgame, because momentum is just such a big factor in baseball. Just the tides can swing in such extremities along that spectrum. So, man, that Victor Robles catch, and you mentioned it, man. Special players. We've gone through. We've named the whole roster that's made impacts. But if you had to pick one, who do you think has made the biggest impact down the stretch here?
I don't know. It seems like the team has taken the personality and the attitude of Josh Naylor. Yeah. I just keep coming back to his name. And the big hit, I'm not just talking about the big hit on last night on Tuesday night where he hit the bases clearing double. No, just the intensity, the attitude, the no excuses. he put it on a record. Hey, I love to hear a hit here. I love it here. This is a batter's park. This is not a pitcher's park. He put that in the ether. And guess what? His teammates followed suit, and now they believe. And it's no difference between home and away. But at home, they've won 21 out of the last 24, which is a record for wins in a span for a season. And I love to see it.
It's crazy, 21-3 since the All-Star break at home.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. I completely agree with you. For me, the guy who's made the biggest impact down the stretch, Josh Naylor, he's the guy, you have an MVP, a leading MVP candidate on your roster, and yet I might still take Josh Naylor in a big at-bat by a hair over Cal Raleigh, which is crazy to say, and it's not a slight on Cal Raleigh at all. It's just how good Josh Naylor is in stepping up in those situations. Just in September, he's got a 174 WRC+. He's playing 74% better than a replacement level player.
Right.
He's hitting 353 this month with 18 RBIs, leads the whole team with a 10% strikeout rate.
Yes.
He's not striking out. He doesn't walk. He likes to put the ball in play, and he's a guy that combines slug with hitting for average, with stealing bases.
Right.
I mean, the guy does it all. On top of that, he plays with so much emotion. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, and it's something that you saw from him when he was in Cleveland with the Guardians, and that's why the fan base just absolutely adored him. When he was with the Diamondbacks, he was more angry, Josh Naylor.
Yes.
You're seeing the passion. Like, you can just see how much he cares.
What a difference a win make, right?
Man,
what a difference a win make. Because when you're winning, you got the intensity and your attitude, right?
Yeah.
When you're losing, you're angry, you know. So, but, you talk about that intensity that he brings to the team. And I don't know if you could play the Victor Robles catch again, because I caught something on this catch. If you look at the bottom of the screen at the end of this catch, you will see the intensity of Josh Naylor. Now, like here, I'm sorry. Here it is, right there, right there. Look at him. Look at him. That's what. Look at him. He's talking to everybody. Yes, that's what we need as a team. He has them hyped up. He has that intensity. The accountability is there, and that's the biggest factor right there. The Mariners, as we talked about before, is headed to the World Series, in my opinion.
I mean, if you want to talk about intensity, let's play the double again.
Yes.
I mean, look at the emotion. Right. Oh, man, when they panned to him.
They hopping.
I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And then they're
you love to see
champagne.
It. You love to see
they're just
it.
splashing champagne.
Hey,
it's
listen.
Absolutely incredible.
Like I said earlier, I hope they poured that champagne and not drinking that champagne, because there's still no excuses. I love to celebrate the milestones, but the job is not done. The magic number is 1. They have a chance to clinch the division, and the 2 seed is out there for the getting. They can get over top of Detroit, and guess what? They'll have a bye week and a home playoff game, and it's no place that anybody else, an opponent, wants to play than T-Mobile right there. T-Mobile will be rocking.
Yeah, the Mariners are invincible at home right now.
Yes.
You mentioned it. So tonight, with a win, as we record this on Wednesday, they can clinch the division over as they play the Rockies. The Astros losing last night, and then that 2 seed. So the Tigers and Guardians are now tied in the AL Central, which is crazy because the Guardians were down 15.5 games in July. They're now tied in the division race. They're playing each other right now, so the Mariners cannot clinch.
How many games you say?
15.5.
That's just baseball. Set them up, y'all.
That's incredible.
That's just baseball.
I thought you heard me. So the magic number to clinch the 2 seed is 2 games. The Mariners cannot clinch tonight because the Guardians and Tigers both play tonight. They play each other tonight. Okay. So the soonest they can do that is they sweep the Rockies. If they sweep the Rockies, lock up. It's over. Yeah. It's over. Wrap it up. Yeah, man. The locking up that 2 seed would just be absolutely incredible. Not only the bye, so you can give Brian Wu, who's dealing with that pec injury, a little bit more time to rest and recover. But, I mean, this entire pitching staff, the bullpen has been taxed.
Yes.
Getting that extra rest would be absolutely incredible, and then just not having to play in that fluky 3-game, wild card series would be incredible. Yeah, man, that guarantees you 2 home playoff games. It guarantees you 2. Well, actually, I mean, you have 2 home playoff games no matter what, because if you're hosting that wild card series, the whole series is at the home ballpark. So you're going to have 2 home playoff games at T-Mobile Park this season, no matter what. That leads us to thanks to our producer, Austin, for this awesome question. DJ,
yes.
What is the most you would pay to go to a home playoff game?
You know what? I'm not the right person.
Hopefully they score a run this time.
I'm not the right person to ask that question because I love to watch the game from the comfy confines of my couch.
Oh, man.
You know,
I'm going to play the double again. You're telling me you don't want to be out here as Josh Naylor rounds the bases, is screaming at this fan base.
You know what?
Cal Raleigh's saying, let's go win the
I would love
to. Tell me you don't want to be there?
Yes, I would love to be there, but you see the way my bank account's set up, right? I got a check-ins and I got a savings. You know, but
That's
I would say, I'm a seat snob. I will admit that, Ethan. So I would go as high as maybe $100, $150. $150 is probably my limit. I'm not balling like that. So hey, I
save up for these moments.
Hey, listen.
Personally.
Hey, listen.
I'd easily drop.
I'm tight. I'm a baller on a budget. I'm tight, but I love the Mariners. I would love to be there. Hey, Mariners, if you want to invite me, I'm the one that said get greedy. Otherwise, I said you was going to make the World Series before you even made a pitch this year. So I've been on board all season long. As a matter of fact, we both have been on board all season long, and we demand a championship, and it looks like you're going on that track.
If I had to pick a number, I'd pay $250 to get in the door.
$250?
I would do it.
Okay.
One time, just to be there. Not every single game or anything. I'm also not built like that.
Right.
And we'd be balling on a major budget afterwards.
Right.
But yeah, I would do 300, man. I mean, a playoff game in Seattle, the Seattle Mariners. Man, I need to be there.
And I got
to talk to Bavisha about getting some time off or something.
That place is going to be rocking.
If she doesn't have me working,
you going to get down there?
I need to get
all
down
right.
there.
All right. That's what's up.
I'm a lifelong Mariner fan. I played baseball my entire life. Ichiro's my hero. Felix Hernandez is my hero. My entire childhood never had baseball in October.
Yes.
And when they made it 3 years ago, I was working in Medford, Oregon, watching on my, glued to my TV and stuff. So the fact that I'm in the city, I need to get out there. All of Seattle, I know you guys are all going to be out there, but man,
we got to get Ethan out there. How about that, you guys?
If
you're on the sidelines right now,
that would be a dream.
Make sure Ethan get there.
That would be a dream come true. So somehow, really, really quick before we wrap up the segment, how are you feeling? Mariners have the best odds to win the World Series in the entire league at over 20%, according to Fangraphs. A 1 in 5 chance Fangraphs is giving you. DraftKings, the sportsbook, the Phillies are they have the best odds. The Mariners are number 2. I think the Phillies are plus 525. The Mariners are plus 575.
Yes.
They are. This stuff is crazy. I just can't believe
it. And how quickly things turn, right? When they came off that East Coast trip with Baltimore, the Phillies, and the Mets sent them home, I was depressed.
The lowest of lows.
I was ready.
That's just baseball.
Yeah, hey, they say, hey, look, it's just baseball. I'm like, just baseball. They're losing a bunch of games. Now, we called it a litmus test, and they failed in that test, I must admit. So we've witnessed adversity from this team, and they've bounced back. Now we'll see if they can bounce back from success. We'll see how much of a control manager Dan Wilson has on this team, because they're celebrating last night and they're poised. They're ready for a letdown. That's just only natural. That's human nature. So we will see how this team bounces back from success. I would love to see it, because that last series against the Dodgers, that might be a World Series preview.
Yeah.
How you like that, Ethan?
Man, that would be a lot of fun. Those are the two teams right now. Well, I think the Yankees leaped the Dodgers in World Series odds to win it. But, that's the leader in the American League for World Series odds. That's the leader in the National League for World Series odds. So that's gonna be a fun one. I'm hoping the Mariners can handle business against the Rockies. That way we don't need a win over the Dodgers to lock up the 2 seed or anything like that. That would be really nice. They can get the job done early.
And how good does it feel to not be at the last game of the season worried about if you're in, if you're not, where you're going? Yes, the last couple of times it's come down to the last few games. How good does it feel to kind of exhale and be like, we're in. Now, the fans can do that, but the players cannot exhale. They must keep their foot on the gas and keep the foot on the neck and go ahead and take this all away and be the first team in Mariners history to make a World Series. How about that?
And you talk about speaking it into existence.
Yes.
Talk about Cal Raleigh doing that.
Yes.
I mean, he, after the game, let's go win the effing World
Yes.
Series.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean,
same
in the
attitude.
offseason, I mean, and that was the point I wanted to make with Josh Naylor. Him just saying, this is a hitter's ballpark. I love the batter's eye. I love hitting here. He's the first person I've heard say that ever. Like that, it makes such a big difference. Just even, just the unabashed confidence to go out and say that, even if you don't necessarily believe it or whatever.
Right.
Like, just to go out with the confidence to go out and say that. I mean, yeah, that's incredible.
And I'm a big fan of that.
It turns the tide. This is a turning point for the whole franchise.
I mean,
this is more than just the season and we might win a championship. I mean, the history of failure with this organization, this is a turning point. People are going to look back on this moment 20 years from now and point to this for whatever the Mariners do in the future, like, whatever fortunes the next few years bring. This season is the turning point. It's pretty cool. We're here for history.
Yes.
We really are here for history.
Yes.
So pretty cool. That's enough for the Mariners for now. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Let's talk Seahawks. What a weekend it was.
Yes.
The Mariners sweep the Astros. The Seahawks go out and just dominate the Saints.
Boat race.
44-13 at home. They sort of get the home monkey off their back a little bit. I thought it was incredible. What was your favorite part of the win? There's so many parts.
You know what? This might be funny, but the favorite part of the win was I was bored at the end. I even got a load of laundry in.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
I goes back and forth between the laundry room and the TV, and I was good. And I loved those kind of games. It was over at halftime.
Yeah.
You're so used to biting your nails, and you can't win until the fourth quarter with the Seahawks, which I absolutely despised and disagreed with. And so it felt good to finally just boat race a team, and they dominated in every fashion. Special teams on offense, the defense did their thing. What more can you say about these Hawks? It was a complete team win.
Well, let's highlight our star of the game. It is Mr. Torrey Horton. I mean, we all know he made history, the 95-yard punt return for a touchdown, but then he also added a touchdown catch through the air, 2 touchdown catches in just 2 weeks. He's turned it into a pretty nice downfield target, a little red zone target for Sam Darnold. I mean, and I said it on Twitter after the Steelers game. I was like, it is only a matter of time before Torrey Horton breaks one of these things. He looked dangerous in the preseason. He looked dangerous in week 1 against the Niners and in week 2 against the Steelers. Look at first of all, gorgeous throw from Sam Darnold on that
in a
catch
bucket,
spot. and then Horton to actually go out and reel it in. Beautiful coverage, and Sam Darnold to trust him in one-on-one coverage.
Yes,
I mean, that says a lot.
It's all coming together for the Seahawks in their passing game. And Torrey Horton, I mean, we recognized him in the preseason. They told us, hey, this guy's electric. He was a training camp star, and it's translated over into the regular season. He's in the end zone with 2 touchdown catches, and now he gets the punt return. You add that element to this team where he's a threat. I mean, this team is looking up right now. Torrey Horton making history.
And do you think, I mean, the offense has been so much better. It's sort of a twofold question. Do you think it is the Seahawks playing worse opponents or the Seahawks playing better? And what's been the biggest difference for the offense since week 1? I mean, they laid an egg in that Niners game. You
know what? I think it's all of the above. I know that might be a cop-out answer, Ethan, but I think it's all of the above. They that first game, it seems like it was my first game plan. They kept the training wheels on. And then, they realized, hey, Sam, and they started to trust Sam Darnold. It went from week 1 to week 2 to trusting your quarterback, and he has delivered. He's the highest rated quarterback in the NFL right now. Sam Darnold is, and I think they're 12th in passing as far as attempts. So they're not throwing a lot. He's being efficient with his throws. He's not turning it over. I mean, he had a few, but he's not turning it over too many times. Sam Darnold right now is driving this truck right now, and it's looking good.
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I also think it's both. The Seahawks are playing better. You're right. The training wheels are coming off, and I think it's important. I don't hate Clint Kubiak sort of trying to build Sam's confidence in week 1 because I'd rather do it this way.
Right.
Sort of letting him do more as the season progresses than having to rein him back.
Right.
If you're just super aggressive with Sam Darnold in week 1 and he makes some mistakes and, the confidence is shaking a little bit. And I know, it was a consequential fumble in week 1. That's tough, and I feel like Sam took some accountability there about getting the ball out a little bit quicker. Abe Lucas got bull rushed on that one, but Sam Darnold sort of got to feel that a little bit more.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
But Nick Bosa is one of the best players in the NFL.
Absolutely. And I just feel like having it progress this way to put, not everything on Sam Darnold's plate, build some confidence, and then let him go against the Steelers and the Saints. I'd much rather that than being super aggressive against the Niners. Sam makes some tough decisions. Confidence is shaken a little bit. He's second-guessing things when he's throwing the ball downfield, in the next couple of games, and then you got to rein him back and put the training wheels back on.
I agree.
I'd much rather it progress like this. And it's
but you just hate to see it against that opponent.
You do.
That division against the Niners.
You do hate that.
That's the rub right there. Mm-hmm. I understand, working, Sam in gradually, putting different things in as you move along the season, but you could ill afford to lose that game, especially with the 49ers and their injury history and their problems that they had. And Brock Purdy did not have a great game. He had 2 throws, one to Tongus and one to Pearsall that I can remember. Other than that, the defense had him corralled. Mm-hmm. So you let 2 people beat you as the Hawks, and it's a division loss. So that was a tough loss for the Seahawks, but we're going to move on, and I think Darnold will be better for that first game, like you said, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, the offense is rolling right now.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. And, this tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, they're playing a decent defense in the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
I think the biggest difference in the offense from if we go last year to this year, the offensive line has just been night and day. And it's not like they're like the best unit in the league or anything. They've just been serviceable.
Yes.
I think that's just how long it's been since we've had an average offensive line. I think they've been above average so far this season.
Anytime you give up 0 sacks, you're above average.
Did you know Gray Zabel, rookie Gray Zabel, he's the only he's the only lineman who's had at least 25 pass block snaps to have not allowed a pressure this year in the entire NFL.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal. That's a rookie that you're talking. And we talked about over the offseason. I was talking about a little bit worried. You're putting a lot of expectations on a rookie to turn this offensive line around.
Yes.
Abe Lucas has been healthy. Charles Cross has been awesome. Jalen Sundell has been great. You've got, Anthony Bradford have not thought about him, which is a good thing. And Gray Zabel's been incredible.
Yes.
I mean, what is going on?
They're doing a great job. To your point, they're doing a great job when you don't hear their name. Mm-hmm. That's a lineman's job right there. I don't want to hear your name, Anthony Bradford. And guess what? I haven't all season. He's been doing great, and so has the rest of the offensive line. And they will continue to gel and grow because they tell us all the time it's the continuity. They have to work together. Well, this is a new offensive line. You have Gray Zabel and Jalen Sundell as new pieces to this line. Yep. Anthony Bradford was in and out of the lineup all season with injuries last season. So they're still growing. So I would love to see week 6, week 7, later on in the season, where this offensive line can go. Now, they kept Sam Darnold clean so far. He hasn't been pressured. He hasn't been sacked. And that credits to the O-line.
Yeah. Do you, as we look ahead, this Cardinals team is better than the Seahawks have played. I think it's nice that they took care of business against the Saints, but there's only so much that you can gather.
Yes.
I mean, the Saints are bad.
Yes.
The Saints are bad too. The Saints confuse me because they put up really tough fights against the Cardinals and the Niners. And then they just go out and lay an egg against the Seahawks. So I don't really know what to think. But this is a good Cardinals team. Right. How are you feeling about the matchup?
I love it. I love the matchup. I think the Seahawks are on a roll already. This early in the season, I think they're one of the better teams in the NFL. I would say top 10 at least. And I want to say top 5, but I'll wait a week. I'll say it next week. This team will go in and boat race the Cardinals. I don't see it. You got turmoil on that team with Marvin Harrison Jr. Dropping passes. Kyler Murray, James Conner just went down there starting running back out for the year with a broken ankle. Kyler Murray, I mean, he's meh. He's so-so. Like, he doesn't scare me at all, even with his legs. So I think that they go in and continue to dominate their opponent. Look for the Seahawks. I think they're going to win 34-17.
Wow. That's a big prediction. Right?
Yes.
That's a dominant win right there.
I even gave you a score.
Well, really quick before we move on. I mean the defense. We talked about the offense. I want to give the defense their flowers too, because they, just this past week, Devin Witherspoon misses his second straight game. Nicky Manwari misses his second straight game. Julian Love out. That's 3 key contributors in your secondary. I mean, what have you seen from this defense and being able to weather the storm? Because I'm not going to lie, before that Steelers game, Devin Witherspoon, he was testing the knee and stuff. I'm like, oh man, is he going to go inactive? We want to bring out the Puget Sound panic meter. I was at a 7. I was up there.
Wow.
I was really concerned. But they held up.
Yes.
And against the Saints, it was no problem.
You said they held up? No, it was the new DK. DK held up. Darian Kendrick. The guy should have 4 interceptions right now.
Yeah.
He has 2. He completed 2. And I love the way he just all around the ball. Mm-hmm. He's around the ball all the time. And I love that player. Now you got to find a way to keep this guy in the lineup because he gets his hands on the ball. All right, Devin Witherspoon, get well soon. You're the best player on this defense, but I want him fully healthy before he come back. Yeah. The new DK going to hold it down for you. And he has been the unsung hero. I'm going to give him his flowers. So far, he has been the star of this defense, if you ask me, along with Ernest Jones. Now, Ernest Jones, the stats and stuff might not – he doesn't make the flashy play. He's just making every play. This guy is all over the place. He's the quarterback of the defense. Those 2 players, Kendrick and Jones, sounds like a law firm. Kendrick
and Jones LLC.
I'm telling you right now, those 2 players are lights out, and they're playing great for that Seahawks defense.
Yeah, and I feel like I think that just shows how important the pass rush has been. I mean, the Seahawks are getting pressure with just rushing 4 guys. They're blitzing at one of the lowest rates in the entire league and with one of the highest pressure rates in the entire league.
Yes.
That takes so much pressure off the secondary.
It does.
So with these injuries to the entire safety core, to Witherspoon at corner, the defensive line is able to mask some of those things and then allow a DK, Darion Kendrick, to go and make plays. You know what I mean? They're not having to cover dudes for 7-8 seconds.
You're right.
So Byron Murphy's been huge in that. DeMarcus Lawrence has been incredible.
That whole front four. Leonard Williams, you have to talk about
Leonard Williams has been incredible.
Yes.
Mike Morris coming up with plays when he's been getting snaps. The edges are getting pressured. They're not getting to the quarterback yet, but Boye Mafe was all over Spencer Rattler. Derek Hall was my star watch. He didn't come up with many big stats, but he was in there too.
And you love to see it, the rotation, some of the depth they're using.
The depth
they're developing their defense, and it's a lot of players making contributions. Mm-hmm. This will only help them in the long run where they can sustain the success after losing a Devin Witherspoon, who was the star of their defense, after losing Julian Love, who's a leader. So you can kind of absorb those injuries because you're playing a bunch of players, and I love to see it. Like, to your point, Mike Morris, where did he come from?
Yeah.
He's been on the team 3 years. He's been anonymous. He gets in the game last week, and I thought he was one of the stars of the game.
Great.
He flashed off the screen and made some plays. So this defense is long, and they're ready, and they're hungry, and they're going to hunt the quarterback. I said it last week in the pod. I want to see them get the quarterback down a little bit more. I want to see him a little bit more athletic off the edge. I think once Owusu gets in shape, I think you'll see that. Mafe, Hall, they're doing great right now. Get to the quarterback a little bit more, and this defense will be the top win the defense in the NFL.
Well, the Seahawks are a 1.5 favorites at Arizona. You already gave your score prediction. Who's the player that you're watching? Who's your star?
I'm looking for Reek. I'm looking for Tariq Woolen to have a star game. You got Kendrick, they're not throwing at him. You got Job, who's playing lights out. Mm-hmm. You're not throwing at him. Marvin Harrison wants to make a point right now because he's been dropping passes. I think they're going to throw Reek's way, and that's why I picked Tariq Woolen as my star watch, because I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities with balls thrown his way, and look for Reek to take that ball away from Arizona.
Well, and he had a great last 2 weeks. I mean, after a tough week 1, and Mike McDonald was saying that his starting spot wasn't really locked.
Right.
Reek has stepped up.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, hopefully that continues. My star watch, JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. The Cardinals defense allows the 3rd most passing yards per game in the NFL right now. It's a much improved defense, but I think JSN can exploit a little bit. I mean, we already know he's second in the league in receiving yards right now. And then those explosive plays down the field. Without DK, we wanted to see, who's going to be that explosive pass threat. It's been Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's not really something that we expected. He leads the league with 3 catches of 40-plus yards, and he's tied for the lead with 6 catches of 20-plus yards.
Yes.
He's done everything the Seahawks have needed in that wide receiver room.
And it's been a thing of beauty when that ball is in the air.
Yeah.
He has a way of contorting his body and kind of boxing the defender out, and it just drops in the bucket, and he's sure-handed. He catches the ball. I love what I'm seeing out of JSN, and he does everything. Also, Ethan, he's been going deep. He'll get you short. He'll get you a catch at the sticks for
third
a
down.
for a first down.
Incredible.
So he's been everything to the Hawks, And Cooper Kupp continues to contribute also. So you can't key on JSN. And with the emergence of Torrey Horton, I like the direction that this wide receiver room is going in. And then you even had a catch or two from Derek Young. So I love the way they're going right now.
Well, and you're getting contributions from all over. AJ Barner's, a reliable pass catcher. Elijah Arroyo stepped up when he's needed to. And then Eric Saubert. He had that catch down in the red zone. He's at the 5. He gets stood up, and then you push him down to the 1-yard line, and Kenneth Walker punches it. You are seriously getting contributions from all over. It feels like we're still talking about the Mariners.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's sort of the main theme that I'm seeing. The depth with these two teams. And stepping up when guys are out with injuries.
Those are the parallels of success.
Yeah.
You can go across sports. If you have a great roster where you develop those young players and give them a chance to shine, and then you add the veterans with that, and they're producing, it makes a great team.
Yes.
The Seahawks, the Mariners, the parallels are uncanny, just like you said. And the Seahawks have the attitude just like the Mariners do, and I want the Seahawks to get greedy too. Don't get complacent, get greedy.
Yeah. You gave your score prediction was 34-17.
34-17 Seahawks.
I'm going to go 27-17.
Okay.
27-17. I think it's a pretty convincing win for the Seahawks over the Cardinals. But games get weird. These games with the Cardinals, they get weird.
Divisional they know us, we know them.
Yeah, so I don't think I fully expected that. What was it? We beat them 16-6 last year.
Yes.
I think at home. I mean, weird stuff happens when the Seahawks play. Not only the Cardinals, but divisional opponents in general. Anyway, let's move on. I want to keep this brief. I think it's worth mentioning the Seattle Storm moving on from head coach Noelle Quinn. It was really exciting. I thought they played admirably against the Las Vegas Aces, especially in that game 3. I thought they played well enough to win. But I think this team was better than a 7 seed. And the punishment for being the 7 seed, you played the 2 seed. The hottest team in the league, the Las Vegas Aces, with the MVP and Asia Wilson, co-defensive player of the year. You're just not setting yourself up for success. And, I want to get your take on your reaction to Noe being out. But, my instant reaction is, how many times did we see this team after a bad loss come in the post-game presser and be like, we weren't ready to play today. They were ready to play, and you can't be not ready to play in this league.
Yes.
After game 1, after that shellacking against the Aces in game 1, they lost by 25. NECA and Skyler come out after the game. We weren't ready to play today from the jump. How are you not ready to play in game 1 of a playoff series?
Yes.
So that was a big red flag for me after some, previous red flags.
It's cold is an indictment on the coaching staff.
Yeah,
and the coach.
To me, that points to coaching.
Definitely.
And I wish Noe the best, but it seems like they needed to go in a different direction.
Right, and thank you for your services. She brought us a championship.
Absolutely.
The year she took over for, not Brian Agler, but the coach
Dan Hughes.
Dan Hughes. I'm sorry, Dan Hughes went out sick, and she continued on with that and won a championship. Definitely. Thank you for your services, Noelle Quinn. But I thought it was time to move on also. And why did I think it was time to move on? Simply because of the turmoil in this franchise the last few years in the locker room. And regardless whether it's a player, it's staff, you had allegations of bullying and all that good stuff. And the thing about it, it happened on Quinn's watch. Mm-hmm. And so not getting over the hump this year just kind of puts the stamp on it. It's time to move on. Now, I want the Storm. This is a message for the Storm. Hey, you're a gold standard franchise, one of the pillars of the WNBA. I want an experienced coach with championship experience. I don't want a young up-and-comer. You bring in somebody that's going to take this team to the next level.
Well, and this hire is important.
Yes.
It might be one of the more important hires in Storm franchise
Yes.
history because the CBA is up in the WNBA. You've got the only player left under contract for next year is Dominique Malonga. You've got 21 of the 24 All-Stars that are free agents this season. Like, the only All-Stars that aren't free agents are still on their rookie contract. I think it's Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark. Those are the only All-Stars that are under contract for next year. So you could see, you're going to see a huge change in the WNBA landscape. You're going to have to be studying rosters. Nobody's going to be on the same team, really. And Skylar and Nneka are both 35 years old.
Yes.
So I think you need to get younger through free agency to build around Dominique Malonga. The way that you do that, you hire a head coach that these players want to play for. Nneka and Skylar wanted to play for Noelle Quinn. It's a big reason why they came here. Didn't end up working out, but you can see the power of having a head coach that has relationships with players in this league.
Definitely.
It's a star-driven league. You need players around Dominique Malonga as she continues to grow.
And you talk about Malonga, and they have a unicorn. They have exactly what they drafted. Dominique Malonga is the real deal.
And she still needs to grow.
I've watched her in the playoffs, and she just looks different out there compared to everybody, even Asia Wilson, the MVP. She's so long, athletic, versatile. She's definitely somebody you're going to build this program after, and the next head coach has to make sure they have her in mind when you talk about development and the next chapter in Storm basketball.
Absolutely. Let's move on to what's slowly turning into my favorite segment of the entire show.
All right.
We've got our NFL picks update. Here's the standings. Look at that guy at the top. Who's that guy? 8-1. Who is that? Who is that? 3-0 this week.
Hey, I'm gonna give my props to Ethan. 8-1 is nothing to sneeze at, man. You know, you're doing your thing. You know, I think I'm 5-4 right there. You know, tied for second place or whatever you want to look at it. Tied for last place, if you ask me. I think I'm 5-4
Nobody
because
second place, Jack. Come on,
you know,
bro.
It's the first loser. Of course, I know that, but it's a long season. It's a long season.
That's just baseball.
Yeah, hey, that's just football. But I think I'm 5-4 because my head is too big in this graphic.
Yeah, you sent the picture.
I know. I talk about it every week. That's why I'm 5-4.
We gotta reset the picture.
I'm blaming the picture.
We
all right?
need new Mojo.
Yeah.
Can you get an Etsy witch to
Etsy witch activate?
Send a picture to an Etsy witch to give you a nice hex or whatever.
Listen.
But so I went 3-0. I hit on my underdog of the Lions over the Ravens.
Oh, that was a great pick,
you, Dante,
too.
thank you. Austin and Will Ortner of Chat Sports, all 1-2. So I'm 3 full games above everybody else. So let's get into the picks for this week. I'll start with Austin, our producer extraordinaire. He's going Bills, a risky pick, 16.5-point favorites over the Saints. I actually also picked the Bills too. He's going with the Chargers at the Giants. They're 6.5-point favorites. And then his underdog of the week, he's going with the New York Jets, 2.5-point underdogs at the Miami Dolphins. Dante, over to you with your picks.
Yeah, I got the Packers over the Cowboys. Packers bounce back in a revenge game for Micah Parsons. Then I want to go Lions. They look like they're on a roll. I mean, it's the Browns. Yes, they won last week, but it's still the Browns. And then for my underdog pick, I'm going with the Bucks against Philly. Now, I picked against Philly last week. I thought the Rams had them in the first half, but you played the whole game. They didn't play a second half. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of the only 3-0 teams. They look great right now. I'm picking them to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat them the last 2 times. Those are my picks.
Yeah, it's a 3-0 matchup right there. That's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yes.
Let's go the picks for Will Ortner of Chat Sports, friend of the podcast. He's going also with the Chargers, same as Austin, at the Giants. He's going with the Lions, 9.5-point favorites at home against the Browns, fresh off that win over the Ravens. Thank you, Lions. And then his underdog, the Indianapolis Colts, 3.5-point underdogs at the Rams. I like that one. I like that one.
Colts are playing well right now.
The Colts are playing
They're
well.
3-0.
It is in L.A. Danny Dimes is back, apparently.
No, they're calling him Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, that's right. I love how you're on top of all the nicknames.
I love nicknames. You know that.
Let's go over to my pick, the Champs. The champ is here.
Yeah, the champ is here. I'm going to give you your flowers now. 8-1, that's great.
I gotta start parlaying some of these. I gotta start making some money on these. Do not take betting advice from me. It's not gonna go well. I'm taking the Bills at home against the Saints. I'm taking the Lions at home against the Browns. And then my underdog of the week, I'm gonna take the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Ravens. They are 2.5-point underdogs. I think there's some turmoil going on with the Ravens, some late losses to the Bills and the Lions.
Okay.
Two really good teams the Ravens have lost to, but they're 1-2. The Chiefs are also 1-2. I trust Patrick Mahomes a lot more than I do the Baltimore Ravens. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to get it figured out with that offense. Andy Reid, they've got the championship DNA. And, the Baltimore Ravens, a lot better of a regular season team, I feel like, than they are in the postseason. But I just can't see the Chiefs starting 1-3. I just can't see it.
Right.
The Ravens have a history of slow starts.
Right.
The Chiefs are going to get their stuff figured out. Patrick Mahomes does not start 1-3.
Yeah, these teams are two Super Bowl favorites in the AFC, if you ask me.
What a schedule for the Ravens, by the way.
One of these teams will be 1-3 at the end of week 4.
Yeah.
Now, I think the Ravens take this game. I mean, how many times has Derrick Henry fumbled in his career? He has 2 or 3 fumbles in the last 3 weeks.
He's got a fumble in each game.
Yeah, that's cost him the game. So I don't see that happening for the rest of the season. I think Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL. I definitely believe that over Patrick Mahomes.
Josh Allen?
Over Josh Allen, definitely. So I think the Ravens definitely pull out this win.
Yeah, how about that Ravens schedule? You start with the Bills, then you got to play the Lions in week 3, and then you got to play the Chiefs.
I'm sure they got the Browns 2 times on the back end. Don't feel sorry for the Ravens and the Bungles without Joe Burrow. Don't feel sorry for them.
All right, well that's going to do it for this week of the On the Sidelines podcast. Tune in next week to see how many games up I am in the picks or
and make sure you check us out on YouTube and follow us on Instagram On the Sideline Podcast.
At On the Sideline Podcast, please follow us there. That's going to do it. The Mariners are incredible. The Seahawks are incredible. Tune in here every week to get caught up on those teams and hear what we have to say. So for D-Jack, Dante Jackson, I'm Ethan McReynolds. We'll see you next time on the Sidelines.
Let's go!
On the Sidelines is available wherever you get your podcast.